believe that that was no accident. Apple surely does its homework when making decisions like this, and Wake County has the skill set and the mindset to attract cutting-edge companies such as Apple. Wake County is a great place to live and work and play because our people are great. We invest in our people. We invest in our quality of life. That's one of the reasons that we invest in our world-class education system, while we have great colleges and universities, a phenomenal healthcare system, and fantastic and vibrant parks and greenways. It's also why we're excited that Apple has committed to investing $100 million in our local schools and community initiatives. And just like Apple, we are always looking to what comes next. Apple's announcement highlights what we already knew about Wake County, that our county is a hub for the best companies and the brightest minds. Fully 4,000 tech companies call Wake County home, and after this announcement, you can bet that there are going to be a whole lot of others looking to sign up as well. As I said, our state and our region have invested in our people. We have invested in our infrastructure, as so many others this morning have talked about, and we continue to invest in our future. And it's days like today that we get to see the dividends paid on those investments. So thank you again to Apple for seeing in us what we have worked so hard to create. We are looking forward to working with you to creating a better community for the years to come. Thank you.
Again, we are excited and proud that Apple has chosen North Carolina as the location for its first completely new campus and engineering hub in more than 20 years. A lot of people worked hard on this. Matt, thank you for recognizing the local folks. Adrian Cole, appreciate it. Former Commerce Secretary Tony Copeland worked very hard on this, as did Chris Chung and the Economic Development Partnership. And also from my staff, my Chief of Staff, Christy Jones, and Senior Advisor, Ken Udy. A lot of people had a role in this, and it's been going on for well over 2.5 years, but we're excited to be here today to talk about this. So we will take questions from the media. Yes.
Hey, this is Jason DeBruin, North Carolina Public Radio. So you mentioned about the incentive package, obviously, and then tax regulations that are in place. The question isn't so much about, how much you're giving in incentives, it's just how much they're investing. The question is, would they have done this if you would have given them less in incentives? So the question is, how are you so confident that they would not have invested here, that these jobs would not have been created, had you given even $1 less in incentives?
I believe these companies look at the whole landscape when making decisions on whether to come somewhere. Incentives are part of it, and most states, when they would attract a company like this, would have incentives. So other states were offering incentives too. But this company looks at everything. And with our workforce, our university system, the fact that we are a center for innovation, I believe that they picked us for a lot of those reasons, our commitment to diversity and inclusion. I do think it was important to have these transformational incentives. I think in the past, North Carolina may have missed out on some of these because we didn't have one, and it's why the legislature and we worked together to put together these transformational incentives. And remember, they are accountable incentives. They don't get anything until they create these jobs and make sure that people are employed. So we're excited about it, and we think we did the right thing with that. Yes.
Governor, you talk about how this is going to attract so much talent to the area. We already know that the housing market is booming here. In terms of the salaries and everything like that, will this create a bigger division that we're seeing in terms of the housing market here in Lake County and then surrounding area? And how do you plan to handle that?
That's a good question. There's no question that the synergy that this project is creating will have a ripple effect across the economy. There'll be a lot of businesses that spring up because of Apple. They'll be able to hire a lot more employees as well. So I think we will see prosperity resulting from this. Now, with that in mind, we know that particularly during this pandemic, that's shining a bright light on people who are really on the edge. People who are sometimes having to work 2 jobs, people who don't have health insurance. I think we need to provide some direct help, and I'll be talking about that a little bit in the State of the State tonight, about getting people the funding they need to get these post-high school degrees and credentials that they would need for these good paying jobs. In addition to, I think we should invest some of our American Rescue Plan money for affordable housing here and throughout North Carolina. So yes, with growth comes challenges with traffic and housing and everything else, but we know that this growth is going to be good for our state overall.
And just a quick follow-up to that, in terms of the educational investment, were there any specifications that Apple is requiring in terms of programs and what they want that money to be invested in?
Well, first, they've told us that this is going to be a volunteer fund, that they're going to put $100 million in a fund for North Carolina schools and community associations. They are going to make those decisions. Obviously, they will take our input, but they want to give back to the community and be a part of what we're doing going forward. They have emphasized to us that it is critical that our community colleges and universities be ready to train these people, because, you know, we were first talking about this project back in 2018. There's so many more different kinds of jobs now, and this hub will require jobs that need much more training and education. So we've got to invest to make sure we can do that. Travis?
Yeah, I wonder, Governor, if you could speak to why now as opposed to 2018. And then for our legislative leaders, the governor mentioned HB 2. Were there any other bills that may be pending, whether it be about voting or just even if there's not a bill pending, the issue or transgender bills where the company or its people made it clear, hey, don't move on that if you want us to come? So two questions. One, why now, not then? And then the other, the political side.
So we have been talking with Apple about this project since 2018. And toward the end of 2018, there was an announcement of an expansion in Texas. We were initially disappointed, but Apple had purchased property here and continued to tell us that North Carolina was on the radar for something else. So we continued talking to them. There's no question that Apple believes strongly in diversity and inclusion and doesn't want to see those kinds of bills that you mentioned get passed. And I think we won't do those kinds of things in North Carolina. But I will say this. I mentioned to Speaker Moore coming in, that window closed, but a door opened. I believe that this project is much more transformational than the expansion we would have gotten in 2018. There is not a particular reason that I know of why Apple did not choose North Carolina in 2018. People surmise that maybe it was because of diversity and inclusion issues and HB 2 hangover. I don't know for sure, but I had a conversation with Tim Cook on Saturday. He feels good about our diversity, inclusion, and anti-discrimination landscape. He feels good about this project, and they are just as excited as we are to build it. Yes, sir.
Governor, a few questions since I don't have to press 5 on the phone today, so thank you. First thing is, what kind of timeline do we know about groundbreaking, about when these jobs are going to appear, and is there any guarantee about them actually hiring in North Carolina, or are they bringing in people from the outside to fill these jobs?
I'm going to let Secretary Sanders talk about that in a little bit. My understanding is they want to start as quickly as possible. And yes, they will bring some people in, but they're going to be relying on North Carolina's workforce. It's one of the reasons why they came here, because we have such a strong workforce, strong communities and strong universities and community colleges. Would you want to add anything to that, Secretary Sanders?
I don't have a definitive date on groundbreaking, but as the governor said, we have been told that they would like to start as soon as possible. So we will partner and continue to collaborate with them on that. I'd also mention that there are 1,100 employees currently that they are going to retain here in North Carolina. And we do expect that because of our talent, which is a part of their decision, that they will hire residents of our state as well.
So 1,100 of the 3,000 are going to be North Carolina?
No, 1,100 are here. They will retain those, and that we will have an additional 3,000. Thank you.
Yeah, Apple already has a site in Catawba County, and so we're hoping that they will grow there as well.
Governor, can you talk about also, so the infrastructure fund, who's in charge of that money? Who decides what projects are going to be funded? And if you can give it more specifics also to that education fund. Who's in charge of that? When will that money be doled out?
There's a Rural Infrastructure Authority Utility Fund that this legislation that we all worked on together that is required. This money that Apple will pay into that fund, decisions by the board upon applications